what I see and what you see. So I'm going to just talk here for a second to see if. Okay, so I think we are live. So hopefully we'll get a few people on. Looks like, good evening, Janet. Hey, Robin. Hey, Miss Kim. You made it. Yay. Okay. All right. There may be another live out there that's a minute and a half because I redid it just in case. Hey, Lisa. Okay. Jenny's working in the background tonight. So, Jenny, just share it to my Facebook page just in case. All right, guys. So tell me where you're from while we're waiting for some people to get on. I'm a little stuffy tonight, allergies going on. Hello, Elizabeth, Henrietta, Miss Robin, good evening. Hi, Debbie, Kathy. All right, we're getting some people. Hey, Miss Belinda. It's been a while. And I'm, like I said, I'm all stuffed up. I don't know what's going on. I think the weather up and down, hot and cold, hot and cold, you know. Hey, Janet, Maria, Debbie, Michigan, Kentucky, Tuscaloosa. All right, awesome. Hey, Louie. Okay, so Jenny has pasted the YouTube link if you want it instead of the Facebook. We are doing Facebook Live and YouTube again tonight. A lot of people couldn't find me last time when we did it, so still trying to work out some technical stuff. I'm not sure what's causing all that. I think there's just too many people using the internet. But anyway, Leesburg, Florida. All right. Good evening. Hey, Miss Brenda. Okay, so tonight, I'm just going to kind of talk about a few things. We had a couple of questions that were submitted, and I will try to answer those. If I don't get to them, we'll catch them on the next time. Because I know, Janet, yours was a ceramic question, and it may have to wait till next week, but I can always talk with you privately also. Okay? All right. Hey, Miss Sandy, Tammy, Kathy, everybody's jumping on. Awesome. Awesome. So I think we definitely need to be on Facebook because that seems to be where everybody was familiar with it. I was trying to switch over to YouTube because Facebook does, from what I understand, there is like a 2-hour limit. We're not going to go that long tonight, but a lot of people have been kicked off if they go over that. So I was kind of leaning towards the YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure and do that. And then you can click the little bell and you can put all notifications or personalize it so that you're notified when I do go live. And then when I put out those little reminders, it says get reminder. If you click on that, it will remind you like 20 minutes ahead of time on your news feed on Facebook that I am going to go live, just as a reminder to you. Okay. Hey, Miss Lucy. Golden girl. You calling Jenny a golden girl? Now, wait a minute. That's an inside joke, you guys. There's 4 of us that we're calling this the Golden Girls. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Anyway, okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is switch my camera, and let's hope that we don't lose anything. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm going to switch over, and you know what? I wonder. Okay. So let me unmute. Hide that. All right. So definitely let me know, Robin, Lucy, that you can still hear me after I've switched to the overhead camera. Okay. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to, as a reminder, because so many people still are not familiar, that Colors for Earth, and I should start back over again. My name is Paula McCoy. If you're new to my lives, I am the owner of Colors for Earth. We have ceramic products, we have glass products, and we have Color Brush Company. Our glass products, we have a closed Facebook group, and if you purchase any of our glass products, you need to ask to join CFE, which stands for Colors for Earth, Glass Color Artist, okay? And make sure that you ask and just say, it'll ask you 3 questions. Answer the questions, and then I will admit you. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can search for my name. You'll see this Colors for Earth logo, and subscribe. Okay. The other thing is, if you are one of our glass members, these are some of the questions that if you're posting in that glass group or on my, tagging me on my timeline, make sure you tell me what COE you're working with, how many layers, just all these different things. As much information as you can give me, it's going to help me answer your questions better, okay? Because I'm going to come back and ask you, and the group is used to asking the same questions, okay? So those are just some things to be aware of. All right, so we had a question that do we ever add in any other ingredients to Colors for Earth like CMC? That was by Miss Kim Walker over in the Dallas area. So yes, we do. Now we have a product called our color thickener. And let me zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so the color thickener is would be similar to the CMC. It's very thin, powdery, and you can thicken either our ceramic underglazes, which would be the color strokes is the one I would use it with, or you can thicken your glass products, your enamels. But as far as the enamels go, you don't need to add that thickener to it unless you're desperate, because the enamels are a powder. Okay, and you can just mix that powder to the proper consistency that you would need to silk screen with, or whatever type of application you're trying to do. So, but if you get it too thin, you don't have enough product where you can remix or add more powder, then yes, you can use the thickener to do your silk screening or to thicken that product up. Okay, a very, very little. I'm talking sprinkle it like a little tiny bit of salt. Okay, it doesn't take much. Add a little bit at a time, mix it up, and you'll see how it just thickens up right away. So, Miss Kim Walker, I don't know if there was a specific question as far as the thickener, but hopefully that answers that question. So depending on what application, what technique you're doing. One of the other products that you can add to the enamels is the modeling glass. This is a product that we carry, and I can't find my open one, but anyway, it's a powder and there's a liquid. There's lots of information on the website on that page. If you just search modeling glass on the Colors for Earth website, it'll take you to that page. And so that's another way that you can actually make basically glass clay that you can put into molds. You can roll it out and cut. There's all different types of things. And actually, Miss Kim Walker is somewhat of an expert at using that. And if you're on the glass group, there is what's it called? A folder within that group that has examples. And within the each picture, I've told you what I did on it. So if you're interested in that, you can go see that out there. I'm going to move kind of fast tonight. It's been a long day. I have my granddaughter all week. The other side of the family has COVID, so pray that everybody stays well enough and can get back. It's hard to work and babysit at the same time. Flexiglass medium. This is a product that was developed many, many years ago. And you can mix it with our enamels, and there again, there's a whole bunch of information. Jenny can maybe drop a link for Flexiglass. There's a couple of sheets you can print out. There's different things. So basically, you turn your glass paints when you mix it with this and some alcohol. Pour it out on a silicone baking sheet, bake it in the oven until it basically comes loose from that sheet. And it's a flexible sheet of glass color that you can then cut with craft punches, decorative scissors, all different types of things. And I am going to do a presentation on this on one of our glass groups. So, and I don't remember when that is. Jenny, is it in June, I think? June or July? So if you're interested in more of that, and we can do some of it on a live another time too. But that is another way that you can mix your enamels with another product. Now, even though we don't have the relief motif anymore, if you still have it, this is a texture medium that is a white base, and then you can add your color to it and build up a texture onto your glass. So there's another mixing agent. Okay, we also have a product, and I don't have a label on mine. It's called Textured Sand. This is just a very, very fine, what I call like a sugar sand. And you can mix this with our matte glazes on the ceramic side for texture. You have to be careful. There's information out there in the product manual on the website. And you can also mix it with your enamels for texture. And there's some different techniques. I actually have a technique that I'm working on something new, and before the glass show, providing it happens in April, I will tell you more about that. I'll give you a sneak preview later, okay? We also carry layering mix. This you can mix with your enamels, and I use it when I do the pours, like the enamel pours, like the dirty pours, different things they're doing with acrylics. You can also use it to mix with Frit, and this is one that I've had mixed up for a long time, and believe it or not, it's not hard as a brick. And you can build up the Frit on a piece, and when it hardens, and this is clear Frit, okay? And I'll just put some out here so you can kind of see it. But you can, and depending on how hot you take this, it will stay raised, okay? Okay, so the question is the relief motif discontinued? Yes, as of right now, some of the raw materials are not available anymore, so I have to reformulate. So I've come up with something similar that I think you'll like, because this is a very textured product, and even when it gets hard as a brick in the jar, so if you have one and it's 5 years old, don't throw it away. All you need to do is add a little bit of water and let that set, and it will reconstitute. Okay, and you can use it on glass and you can use it on your ceramics. Okay, so as of right now, yes, it is out of it's discontinued. So that kind of goes into the textured sand, that you can use some of it to create a texture. You just need to be very careful adding this to a glaze or to your glass paints, because if you get too much texture, then you don't have enough glass or Frit in the glazes to bond it to the surface that you're working on, and it's going to fall off. Okay, so we'll go into more detail. So this kind of works really good tonight, because then I can hit these points later singly and give you more detailed information. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so the question was, can I show what the watercolor markers that I use on ceramic and glass? Absolutely. So let's see if you can see that. Statler Tri Plus Fine Liner. Make sure you get the ones that say Fine Liner. Okay, well, let me hold it up against this because you'll be able to see it better. See, it's like a Sharpie point, very fine. Water-based, it fires away. That's my recommendation on ceramic or glass. So if you're on glass, you would use a piece of tissue paper and hold on, let me move these out of the way. Yeah, I have tissue paper here. Don't need to see the rest of that. Okay, so let's pretend that there was a pattern on here. So what you would do is just draw over the pattern, okay, slowly, to allow the marker to bleed through. And when you remove it, you do have a little bit of a pattern, and all you need is just the gist of it, okay, as far as that transfer. When you're on ceramic, it works the same way. And this tile happens to have lemons on it. I wonder why. Because I was doing lemons the other day. So same thing. If you go around your pattern, This one's not transferring as well. Now there is a little bit of a difference. You got to go slower and it comes through better. See, I'm in a hurry. So if you go slow enough, it does transfer through. Works on greenware, works on bisque, also works on top of a dried matte glaze if you're going to do Majelica work. You can write on the surface, you know, if you wanted to sketch your flower out, you can do it right there. You don't have to do it on a pattern and transfer it. Okay, same thing with your glass. You can sit and actually draw directly on there and you'll be ready to go. Okay, all right, any other questions? Okay, so Jenny has put a link to the Walmart ones. Let me tell you, yeah, Amazon the other day, I found them again. Hold on, I've got the package here. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. This is the Amazon package of 36, and they had it for like $28, which is an awesome price. It's normally a lot more. So even if you don't need that many, because you're going to pay for 6, you're going to pay like $18, something like $12, $18. So, and if you're using them on bisque, if you're a ceramic person using it on the bisque, it wears that little tip out, okay, because it's like a Sharpie tip. You're going to definitely wear it down. Or let's say if you're using it on, I wouldn't use it on canvas for acrylics or anything, because anytime you touch this with moisture, it bleeds. But that is a good price. I noticed the other day when I was giving somebody a link that they still had this set on sale. So definitely check that out if you need them, okay, for ceramic or glass. All right, Jenny, any other? All those little lemons. Yes, Robin, let me tell you, I cut 150 stencils for the class in Las Vegas at the end of the month. And those of you that are on here that are coming to that class, you will get to meet Jenny in person because she's coming with me as my teacher's assistant. Yay! She's making the ride. You guys pray for us that we get through Flagstaff with no severe winter. That time of year is not the best. This is a piece I posted the other day that I was putting it in the kiln. It came out today. So this has got, try to get it where the light doesn't show or you know, the shine. This has got bubble art underneath and it's got clear frit on top. I outlined with the paste to basically build a dam. And what happens is, because bubble art needs to go between glass, well, I already had an opaque piece. I had the white that I like to work on because it really makes the colors vibrant. So I capped it with clear frit is what I ended up doing. And so you can see little tiny bubbles underneath each frit piece, which is kind of cool. Plus you have a little bit of the texture. I think you can still see. This went to 1420 with a 10-minute hold, and I still got some texture from the frit. So that's kind of cool. Here's that ink piece that I did, which turned out really nice. Got some brush strokes, dotting tool, stamp, quill pen work. I added extra outline, you know, elements to create it. So it's completely different from just the stamp itself. So this is one of the pieces that I'm teaching over in North Carolina, middle February at the Tryon Arts Fuse Fest. So when I do the frit, this is Slumpy's Coarse Clear. I love their frit because it is tumbled and it's not sharp, and especially if you're working with kids or working with seniors, it's not as sharp and they're less apt to cut themselves with that. So that's kind of cool. And that's what I used on this piece with the bubble art. Miss Robin says, wow, that's a lot of work. The cutting all the stencils, yes, it was. And then now I got to print all the packets out. So, okay. So any other questions, Jenny, before I move on? Okay. So this is not dry enough to move it, but I think you can see that that frit is built up. So like it could be the center of a flower, and I'll do some more of this. I've got a plan where we're going to hit, and I've even videotaped a couple. I've videotaped these pieces that I did so that I could hit just some, one technique with some shorts, so to speak, short videos. Okay. So when that dries hard, it will stay raised. And then just depending on how hot you go with it. So it's something you would want to do. You can color it with the enamels. This was just the layering mix with frit. And when it dries, it's going to stay in that shape. Then you can come back and you can drizzle color over it. You can put glitz over it. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with it. Okay. All right. No more questions? I don't see anything. Nope. Okay. All right. So those of you that do ceramic and glass, this is a ceramic piece painted. This is all glass frit, the colors that you see here. This is our white foam, which is our snow product, our fired snow product. And I put on a couple of coats, and then the last coat I add the frit into it and put it on, and then the frit will move. You just got to be careful not to get it too close to the bottom. But if you do both mediums, this is a way, or say you've got some 90 and you're 96 now, and you want to, use that and get rid of it. That's another way to use it on your ceramic. So just tie in some colors that go with your design. So you would apply 2 coats of the white foam, and then on the third coat, mix the frit into it and apply that to the surface. Okay. That was so much fun. Okay. Question. Yes, Vicky, I'm getting to there. I'm getting to there. She got on there before I could. That was the second question. Um, okay, so let's just mix some real quick and I'll demonstrate that. That was on my plan for tonight. So I've picked out, she was talking about rocks. Is there a way to add something that looks like moss if you were painting rocks? Okay, so I've taken some of our graphite gray G304 into one of my little containers. I'm going to add some glass medium. I'm going to take my tool to mix it. Remember, when you're mixing, you'll learn how much powder to how much medium, but just add a little bit at a time until you're familiar, so that you don't have to add more powder and end up wasting your product. Try to mix up only what you need. And we're going to just pretend to paint a rock. Now, see, that's thick. It's like peanut butter, too thick. So I'm going to add a little bit more. And I'll show you the drip test so that you know. And there's multiple videos out there on how to mix the enamels. Okay. I think I need a couple more drops. Miss Vicky is from New Zealand. What time is it over there, Vicky? I don't remember. 6, 8 hours difference. Okay, so when you get it mixed up, wipe your tool off completely. That is the key. I'm going to tilt this to the side so I can get in there. I'm going to dip it in, pull the tool out really quickly, and that will, and if it drips by the count of 3, then we're okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So it dripped by a 2, so that's good. If it just ran off, then it may have been too thin. I could add more powder to it. Okay. So let me grab my brush. I was prepared for you, Vicky. And I'm just going to pretend this flower is a rock. Okay. So I'm flooding the color on. I'm picking it up, pushing. So I'm starting in the center of the area that I want to work in. And then I'm pushing to the outer edge. Okay. You don't want to put the color on like this, because if you do, it's going to be too thin. Okay, this is for solid opaque coverage. Now, and this is a good thing to show you too. This, I had that marker around there. It may not be visible on camera, but I can see the marker starting to bleed into the color because they're a water-based marker. Anytime you touch them with any kind of fluid, it's going to start opening that up. It may discolor your enamels. It's going to burn off. Don't freak out. Okay, don't freak out. Oh, my head. All right, so once you've got that on there, so Vicki wanted to know, and I know she's going to start working on a new creation, and I cannot wait to see it. She does absolutely beautiful work. And I'm trying to find a piece of paper to put underneath me here. Hold on one second. All right, I'll just take that out. All right, so Vicki, I pulled out the 361 leaf green and 367 moss green just because you said you wanted to know how to create possibly moss. You could probably, it's 3 p.m. Wednesday, so it's already tomorrow. Really? Wow. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of, this is, these are Enamel Sifters. There's 3 sizes. To my knowledge, there's only 3 of this particular brand. You can find these at Delphi, Slumpy's. Most of your glass supply stores have them. They have a fine mesh in the bottom. Bullseye also has a larger sifter. I don't have one of those handy. So I put a little bit in here, Vicki, and what I'm going to do, and let me come in just a little bit closer. I'm being cautious because I don't want it to get to. So you could tap it. You can either pull across the handle because it's metal and metal. Okay, you can actually use a handle of a brush even, or you can tap it. So it depends on the look. So while this is wet, if I wanted to just sprinkle, I think you can kind of, it's hard to see on there. So while it's wet, you could do that. And if you didn't want it in another area, you can always push that up against. That would create, a heavier buildup of that color around the edge, which might be really nice. I think, do you fire this stone? Okay, so this is just, yeah. So what Vicky wanted to do was if she was painting rock. So we're going to imagine that this is a painted rock, and then we just sifted some color on top of it. So yes, this is glass, and it does need to be fired. I think you can see that one better if I added a little bit more. You can kind of see it on there. Okay. So there are products called Powder Vibe where you put the enamel or powdered frit inside, and the vibration where you could get like a fine point. And that might work too, Vicki. But this is going to be your cheapest way to go about it. Those are not cheap unless you've already got one. Unless Jenny can think of something else that I'm not thinking of. Um, or you can just mix up another color. You can mix this color up and drizzle it on the top if you wanted a heavier application. But I think what she's wanting is more of something that is kind of where it looks like moss. Now, Vicki, you might test, do it when you've just applied the color, then let it dry maybe 5 minutes where the edge is starting to get chalky and it's a little thicker where it's sitting more on the surface, because right now this is absorbing into the color. So do a couple of tests at different drying, levels to see what you like, would be my suggestion. Do you have, thanks, and I'm fired up about what I can do. Oh, okay. You're welcome. So hopefully that helps. And of course, this is on that gray. I don't know why I picked the gray. I could have picked a lighter color. And I don't know if you have these sifters there or not, Vicki. Let me see if I can get this lighter color to show up. This is the 61. And we'll just, yeah, that's a little bit better. See how you could come in there and you could do multiple colors. Okay. Oh, Jenny, there's a spammer on there. Can you delete that? Somebody's got, oh, Lordy. Don't you just wish people would get a real job? I don't know if you can delete that comment on YouTube or not. You probably can't. Excuse that, guys. I don't know how to get rid of this person. I don't think there's anything I can. Okay. It's in there like 5 or 6 times. So, okay, I'm going to go over there real quick and see if I can delete it. Anybody else have any questions about anything? I know that Janet did. Give me 1 second, and let me see if I can access this, because that's terrible to have that out there like that. That's awful. Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. All right, so anybody else have anything before I go to? Okay, we have another question. Okay, so Debbie asked how, and which Debbie is it? Okay, all right. I can't see the comments, so I'll have to just leave it up to you to do that. I'll have to go back and delete it later. Okay, so the ink piece is done with color concentrates. This is one of our stamps. You can see that it's the same stamp. And I've done a couple of videos on stamping, so there's hour and a half, 2 hour tutorials on it. This happens to be number 61 when you're looking. So ST 61 is what you'd search for on the web. You can go scroll, just do stamps, and it'll bring up a couple of pages of different ones. So I used, where's my little pouncer? You know, those pouncer brushes. It's like a sponge. I'm trying to find mine. It fell off over here. I had it handy. So I used one of these pouncers and put some of the black color concentrate out into a palette, and then I loaded up the sponge. Okay, let me back off just a little bit. Okay, so I loaded up the sponge with the color, whatever color you're going to use, and you tap it onto the sponge until everything is wet and it looks like it's covered. And then I prefer to stand up over my piece so that I can center it. Stand up over it, put it down on your glass, and then just give it a little love, we call it, and press down to make sure all of that is in contact, and then lift straight up, and you have a black outline. Then what I did was I came in, and I'm going to put a little short video up, probably not till the weekend, with our dotting tools. And I grabbed some of the color and I went over here and I made dots, or I filled in. And I also took the quill pen and I dipped into the color, and I added extra loops and lines. I added the red lines, black lines, because you can see that this one only comes out to here, and then I've added other things around it. When you're doing the color concentrates, they're not food safe. They are a ceramic product. They're one of my ceramic underglazes. And you need to sift clear powdered Frit over it generously, or cap it with a clear. In this case, I had an opaque orange, and then I had an opaque white, so I sifted over this one. Now, some colors that are darker, and then some colors is just different minerals it's made up with, they require more Frit than what you think they would. So I'm going to tilt this and see if you can see that there's a little bit of a texture. I think you can kind of see it there, the lights. Okay, so Debbie's saying, so all of these colors on here are color concentrates. And this particular one, they are. And there is still a little bit of roughness to it, but as long as you're not going to use it for food, if it was a food surface, I would cap it with a clear, and I would work on a white base. You can also do a watercolor background. You can also stamp with our, here's another one. This is all concentrates. And I did a watercolor background, stamped, and just filled in a couple of colors. You can also stamp with our designers. Now, the design, and I don't have a package out here to show you those because we're getting into more things. This is the designers on this particular one here. They're bright, very fine. They have to be capped also. They are a non-enamel. So designers and concentrates are non-enamels, so they have to be capped. And there are some specific firing schedules for those. So if you're on the glass page on Facebook, the closed group, I put up a cheat sheet for firing maybe a month ago. So look at the files and just review the different guides that are out there. And there's information on the website also. Okay. So two different looks. Of course, it's not the same color, but, and then this one here is all color concentrates also. Okay. I think I have the stamp. Now I know what to do with it. Yeah. I've got several videos, guys. Use those videos. I mean, Kim can tell you that there's tons of them out there. Okay. Use them. That's what they're for. And if you don't know how to find them, there is an education tab on the website at the very top in the blue bar. When you click that, it brings up, then go to video tutorials. And within that one, there's buttons. So if you want to learn about typing, click that button. There's playlists, in other words, that I've created out on YouTube that specifically is for certain products, concentrates, designers, those type of things. Okay. This is, don't rule out your white outline. This is white outline, and it was on the top. It was on clear, and then I used black to back it and just did different size dots. Okay, so, and when it's fired hot enough, don't put the outlines between product. It needs to be on the top until it's been fired, because it will bubble. And I can show you an example of that. All right, without taking these off of here, hopefully I can do this. Maybe not. All right. Do you see this one here is black outline on top. That is black outline between. Do you see how that bubbles? It's crazy. So do not put black outline between. This is white on top and between. It does not bubble, but for safety, I just say only use it on top. Okay. All right. So any other questions? Like the black and white. Yeah, the black and white is so simple. And you can do that, Janet, with your ceramic. Put the 2 to 3 coats of color stroke black on your bisque and come in with color stroke white, because those are opaque colors versus translucent. Okay. And dot. Don't get extremely heavy, but it's doable. Most of these things you can do on both surfaces. Okay. You can do that. All right. No other questions? All right. I'm going to move some of this over here. So maybe you can see that if I set it down here. This is the bubble art just sprinkled on to a piece, which is really cool. Great for jewelry. Let me zoom in a little bit. Can you see that? Isn't that awesome? It's crazy. I'm going to set something under it so it doesn't have quite the, there we go. So I just take, if this was a bubble art color, I just take my spatula, grab some of it, and then if I were over that glass, I would just kind of tap it and let it fall off. And I usually do 5 colors. And it's great for backgrounds. It's great for jewelry. Pretty awesome. Okay. Any questions about that? Kim Walker, tons of those videos. Yeah, they're addictive as Pinterest. Boy, ain't that the truth. Yeah, make sure you got time, because it just goes from one to the other to the other. Okay. All right. What else? We need to answer Janet's. How are we doing on time, Jenny? We got about 15 minutes left. Okay. Just another, let me go back out. This one is done with the quill pen and the designer black on white glass. You could transfer a pattern like I showed you with the tissue. I just freehanded all this and I capped it with a transparent blue. And I'm a 96 user. But all of this work is done with the quill pen. And there's a video showing basic information on this one out there. Okay. Now, before I forget, I want to show you that this is a ceramic piece. Let's go back out. Okay, so this is what's called a ewer is the name of this shape. And I glazed it with our matte medium, fired that glaze on, 06 firing, and then I came back and I mixed the enamels with the layering mix, and there is a free video. It's on a plate out there. You mix it with the layering mix so that your brush strokes will hold on the ceramic surface, and then you would still end fire that to an 015, 016 for you ceramic people. If you're a glass person and putting this, you've got to have a kiln hot enough to fire the glaze, which is going to 1830. So most of your glass kilns will not do that. So you need a ceramic kiln to do that. Or you can buy purchased. Okay, remember Tuesday mornings, dollar store, any kind of purchased ceramic piece that has a glaze on it. It could be shiny or matte. You could come in and decorate with your glass products on there, and then just take this to your full fuse. Make sure it's laying on some thin fire paper so that nothing sticks to your shelf. But treat it just like you would a piece of glass as far as your ramping or anything else. Okay? Kind of cool, isn't it? All right. And we were talking about mixing things with the enamels. That was one of the questions. Just real quick, this is Frit mixed with the copper sparkle, and then here I just sprinkled it on and used it as a Frit on top of the black area. Now these are all squares that were done individually and then patchworked in like a quilt. I taught something similar to this up in Green Bay 4 years ago, I think it was. Okay, so that's another way. So you can make your own colored Frit to match your project. Okay, this has got Frit in it. It's just got Frit over the top of color, and it diffuses. So there's a whole nother live. You know me, I can go on and on and on. All right. So Janet wanted to know real quick, could I talk about how to mix our clear glaze and our concentrates? Janet, I think I'll do a video for you on that so that it's I have more time to do it. But if you need 4 ounces of clear glaze and you're going to tint it to make a transparent blue clear glaze, you never put, like if you're going 1 ounce to 3 ounces, never dump that all in at one time. Start with an ounce of glaze, half an ounce of color, and I want you to take a fan brush and I want you to, in a cup, okay, you've got it in there, you need to mush the color and the glaze together to make sure you get it mixed up thoroughly. And on our product manual, which is at the bottom of the website, it says product manual. You just go down at the bottom of any page you're on, click on it, it takes you to a page with PDF, and you can print out and learn information about all of our different products. Okay, but and then you would just apply 3 coats. But if you try to mix a whole bunch of color into that, you'll never get it mixed up thoroughly, and it ends up being marbleized. So you need to do it, we call it tempering the color. You do it a little bit at a time. Okay, think about it this way, Janet. When you're baking a cake and or cookies and you're adding your ingredients, you just don't dump 3 cups of flour in. You put a little bit in and you mix it up and put a little bit more and mix it up. Same principles here. And I'm not a cook, but think of it that way. That's the best way I can explain that. Okay, so Marlene says, does that ceramic piece need to be fired on its side, or can it be painted on all sides and stood up? So Marlene, are you in a ceramic kiln? No, it does not need to be. I put this in my ceramic kiln standing up and stilted the bottom. Okay. So hopefully, if you're in a glass kiln, like my glass kiln, I have one that is only 6 inches tall. So I would lay it down and I would just let it, it's not going to melt because it's fired up to 1930 on the BIS firing. It's 1820, 1830 on the glaze firing. So it's not going to melt. You can just set it. I just usually put it on thin fire papyrus so that if anything should happen or your glass paint was down where it's going to touch, it's not going to stick to your shelf and ruin it. Okay. So normally I would stand it up to fire it. But if I had a kiln that's not tall enough, then I would lay it down. Hopefully that will answer that question. All right. Any other ones? You love this pattern on this, Nancy? This is called Floral Repeat. It's on a ceramic baking set, baking dishes that's out there. Guys, you can use any of my patterns for glass or ceramic. You know, and a lot of the colors transfer over. That's a whole nother whole nother video. The basics is it doesn't matter what the first letters are, the last two numbers, if they're the same, and I don't know if I have a 61. I do. Okay, so here we go. We've got G361 leaf green, and we got CC161 green leaf. I just flipped it around. Okay, these have the same pigment. So if you have a pattern that says this, and you want to convert it and do it in glass, now we don't have the same amount of colors, but that's how you can convert and do that. And actually, I have a packet. It's a Christmas packet where I give you glass projects and ceramic projects all in one. That's out there also. Floral Repeat. Yes, Nancy, that's it. It's really pretty designs. I've even done it on porcelain also. But yeah, you can check that out. And Vicky, to go back to this one, can you see now that that's starting to dry? You can really see the colors on there. Okay. So I think you'll be able, and it's still wet. Well, no, it's not. It's completely matte. It's not dry, but it's not open any longer. So just play and see what you can come up with. All right. Any other questions? Hey, Miss Ginger. Okay. We have a question. Okay, so Ginger, you have two pieces of bisque. You want to fire them in your glass kiln. Do you want to paint them with glass product or ceramic product? That's my first question to you. I'm glad you're excited, Vicky. That's awesome. So Ginger, if you could type in, I know there's a delay. I'm going to get a drink. I'm getting dry. Um, if you're painting with glass products on a ceramic piece, and I don't remember if you still have a ceramic kiln or not. So this one already, I put a matte glaze on here and fired that to an '06, which is 1830 degrees. Most glass kilns will only go to 1700. Okay. So you would either have to fire it or now, can you use your enamels on the bisque, which is in ceramics, bisque is like our glass molds, our bisque. I know that gets confusing. Um, you can put the glass products on there and just take it to a full fuse. Only have your glass products. Okay, so you could paint it. What is going to happen is it'll probably look crazed or cracked, which is a cool effect. Just test it on like a bisque tile to make sure it's not going to come off. You want to make sure that it's going to adhere to it and it's not going to start flaking off because somebody's going to end up getting cut because it's going to be very sharp. Okay. Oh, I know what. I got one other thing I was going to show you, and I hate to show you this piece because it's actually a terrible piece, but I want to give you some ideas. Um, you can take pieces of glass. So you've got all your scrap. Cut you some shapes. This is just a abstract triangle, and I put bubble art flooded on the back side of it or on the top of it when you're working on it. When it was dry, I laid it down on my glass, and then I got bubble art just in that area. And here, this one kind of moved a little bit, but isn't that cool that you can just take your pieces and do that? This piece actually broke. It split on me, but I seen it the other day and I was like, I need to show you guys that because I think that is very cool. Then I used some dots and things, stringers, stuff. But that's a really good way to use up some of your scrap. You could actually make mosaic like jewelry or coasters. I mean, so many different things that you can do. You are welcome, Ginger. I want to do that. Okay. So yeah, and if you guys have specific questions of something I've showed, you can message me or email me. Okay, my email is info@colorsforearth.com or ceramics by Paula at Gmail. All right, are you ready for a reveal? I probably shouldn't show this, should I, Jenny? I'll probably get in trouble, but I'm going to show you anyway. So this is coming soon, probably not until the glass show, but I want to show you and I want your opinion. And I need to tilt it so that the glass doesn't reflect. So what I need to know what you think about this, if you like the look of it, and would you be interested in learning how to do this? This is glass. Can you use color concentrates with the enamels on glass? Yes, Sandy. You can apply your enamels. When it's dry, you can come back in and shade or decorate on top of the enamels. I wouldn't mix it with the enamel, okay? It's a second. And you do need to sift over it or it's going to be dry because it's a non-enamel. It has no frit in it. Kim Walker says love. Ginger says love. Okay, so you like that? Yeah, pretty cool. See that texture? Pretty nifty. I'm thinking night lights and all different kinds of things. So anyway, that's coming soon. Jenny saw this a long time ago. I've been waiting to show it. So, all right. Oh, yes, Vicki, it's very vintage. That's kind of me. I'm going to switch my cameras back. Hey there. Okay. And then I will hide that one. All right. So hopefully this was good information tonight. I know I went through things fast. So if you have any specific questions, let me know. We are going to do a couple of giveaways. I just blinked on my screen. I hope that didn't mess it up for you guys. Okay. All right. So Jenny is going to spin. I am going to give away my hibiscus, tropical hibiscus pattern pack. It's written on window glass, believe it or not. There you go, Kim Walker. You need that one. You and Maria wanted to know more about window glass. So that's one of the packets we're going to give away. So I'll let Jenny do that. Jenny helps me remotely if you're new to me. If there's anybody in the North Carolina area, don't forget I'm going out to the Fuse Fest. So check that out. There's a post on my personal page about that. I'd love to have you join me. And then I'm headed to Alabama to teach on the way back from there in Tuscaloosa area, Northport, Alabama, for one day. I'm doing the lemons over there. So if you're ceramic and you can get there, I would love for you to join me on that one. All right. Elizabeth Appleby, you are the winner of that packet. Now, if you do not do glass, let me know and we can pick out a ceramic packet for you. Okay. So, and what I need you to do, I'm trying to find the next packet, sorry, is to message me on Facebook Messenger with your address, phone number, email for tracking so that I can send that to you. If you'd like to have it digitally, I can do that also. I can send you the PDF. Okay. So Elizabeth, if you're still on here, if you're not, then I will post. Yep, she is. I am ceramic. Okay. So the value of this packet is $14.50. Go out there and cruise my website, find something equal or less, and let me know which one you want, and we'll get it over to you. Okay. All right. I've got to try. Okay, Jenny's laughing. What are you laughing about? Oh, Kim Walker's trying to get picked. So I guess what? And she's saying her name is spelled Maria. Okay, the next one is the Dragonfly glass bowls. There is um, two different bowls in there. All right, so Jenny is gonna. I'm trying to see if I have a ceramic one. I have a watermelon pitcher. Elizabeth, I have this one. If you like that, I have all of them, but that's just one I happen to have printed out. I was trying to get rid of a lot of those. Okay. Okay, so if you're on YouTube and your name is Sandy, H is in Harry, you are the winner of the Dragonfly packet. Sandy H. So we don't know what the last name is. Be sure you message me, or Jenny can pop my email on there, ceramicsbypaula@gmail.com, or info@colorsforearth.com. Okay. All right. That's all for tonight, guys. Next week, I'll probably talk more ceramic, and hopefully I'll be recovered from babysitting all week with a 4-year-old. We'll see. All right. Thank you, Miss Robin. Thanks, Janet. I'll get a video done up maybe over the weekend when I have a breather. Okay. And I've got some other shorts on some of these other things that I need to edit and put up there. And Miss Jenny is laughing again, so who knows? Sandy H. Yay. Okay. So get a hold of me, Sandy, because I don't know what your last name is, whether I've shipped to you or not before. So I need all of your information. You are a wealth of knowledge. All I can say, Lucy, is people have told me I'm full of it. Ha, right? Okay, guys. And now Jenny's laughing. You guys can't hear her, but I can hear. It's like talking in my head. Anyway, all right, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next week. Good night.